Welcome back, Officers Republic. It's your course on Role Police Chief APGAINS. I've been helping a lot of players behind the scenes set up not only their GAC squad tabs and do their GACs. We did one on stream, actually. Shout out Sean. Didn't think he was going to win. We pulled it through. It was great. But I've been helping a lot of mid to late game players figure out why it is they're underperforming in Grand Arena, why they're not at the division where they think that their roster should be. And some of it's RNG, some of it's, bad matchmaking, some of it's not using the right squads, but a lot of that is just kind of external factors. Really what I figured out it came down to is just the use of backbone teams, if we're being perfectly honest. So we're going to run through the backbone teams really quickly to give you an idea of what they are and how you can implement them, because I really find that a good roster kind of builds up that core 8, that double S tier fleet with the A tier ships behind it, the 2 GLs, and then after that people kind of like, do I get another GL? What do I do? And they kind of forget about the backbone, or through some side avenues in the game they don't really pay much attention to it. So we're going to go through I think it's 5 backbone teams that I have in the squad tab, kind of explain to you. Mandalorians is first. What Mandalorians you use with Maul is up to you. This is like what I would figure would be my ideal team, because I don't have C, so armor's got to go somewhere. Don't know if I'll ever put these guys up, but the team does great by itself with, undergeared teams and some hodgepodge thrown in there. A dominant team, a powerful offensive defense swing you can put anywhere you want, kind of a plug and play, kind of a flex, but definitely has enough panache to hold some good stuff on defense and beat some stuff on offense. We have Star Killer, of course. Something I will be going for right after I finish my current farm. This has become like the best, I have a GL, I have an S tier fleet, I got my core 8. Is there something that I should get in between all of the other good stuff that I got to get? Especially with TB3, this has kind of been one of the big, this has been one of the big wins recently as far as roster building is concerned. And it's been a great team forever, obviously, because of its GAC domination, its Omicrons and stuff like that. But now with the advent of TB3 and TB3 actually being relatively viable for lower guilds, a way to get some extra rounds and get some holds or some offense out of your GAC. It's a fantastic team. No one's ever said it's not a fantastic team, and I think this might be the most obvious one on the list for sure. Next, we have Malgus. This really just comes down to you have a Sith Empire team, and one way or another, you either slacked in in Conquest, which is fine. I slacked in the last Conquest with the Scythe, and the one before that with Ben Swallow because I was just too lazy. But when it comes down to turning a B to B plus tier team into an A plus team, it's really something that, well, kind of hindsight's 2020. You should have put some investment into if you didn't already. But also, when you get the opportunity coming up to put some currency into this, put some crystals into this, this is definitely a character where you should start focusing up just to change a B team to an A team, right? That small change there, whether you throw it on defense or whether you throw it on offense, is going to make a fantastic difference. I cannot tell you how many times, we did a GAC, yeah, it was a 3v3, but we fought a Malgus and we misplayed, and then Malgus was left alive, and then it was just it took us forever to figure out how to kill Malgus, right? It just took us forever to figure out how to kill Malgus. We eventually did it, won the GAC, we went 3 for 3, no problem. But, imagine that your opponent either gives up earlier than I do, or just didn't happen to have, the random team put together that could get it done. This character is something that's going to really fuck up a lot of people on defense. Even now that, everyone was scared of him when he first came out because it was Datacron, but even with Omicrons and, throw a 15% special ability, turn meter Datacron, or a weakest character gets 100% Datacron, or even no Datacron, this team is going to fuck up a lot of people on defense. And if it's a simple acquire for you, you should definitely look into picking it up. Next, we have the Fat Bar team. This is kind of an obvious one. The team's really good. I plug in R2. If you're wondering what I use instead of K2SO, I plug in R2D2 because I have no other use for him, and he's R7. But a pretty obvious backbone team. It does really great stuff. Not so much on defense. I kind of use it for offense. It hits surprisingly hard, has some survivability, some recoverability. Obviously, it's used for the Titty fleet, which is, a nice little plus there, which kind of makes it a double backbone for both ships and characters. But a team where you're not really going to do amazing stuff with it, but it really kind of hits the nail on the head for what a backbone team should be, right? You have your core teams, you have your GLs, you have your ships, but you just kind of need something to give you a little oomph, to reinforce a little bit, to have a little bit more flexibility. Where do I put this? Do I put this on defense? Do I beat a good team but not a great team on offense? Kind of just gives you that flexibility that you're looking for, and of course is an incredibly important team for ships. So definitely plugging into the backbone teams. And then we have Jedi Knight Luke. Now this is an obvious one, and kind of a weird point that I'm trying to make here. I've seen a lot of people. We obviously know that I look at more rosters than anyone in the entire world, but I've been seeing a big trend recently of people grabbing Jedi Knight Luke, skipping the Titty, skipping JML, going straight for Jabba, which I find interesting. It's kind of a trend. I'm tracking it, but I'm not necessarily sure that it's a great idea. But it is something that I have my mind on, and it's a team that, Datacron's withstanding can help you beat your SLKRs. You can beat pretty much anything. You can plug it into JML and beat pretty much anything. But it gives you that flexibility when you're punching up to an account where maybe you don't need a full JML team to beat whatever GL you're going against. Maybe you can plug in some other stuff there and flex this out to two separate teams. Maybe you have JML left and there's no GLs left. You can split this up into two A-tier teams, get a lot done, punch up. Like I said, even without JML, you can beat SLKR, Datacron's withstanding, and get a lot of good stuff out of this. I would only ever use this for offense, not defense, but just because it doesn't have a ton of flexibility, offensive, defensively. Obviously, if you put it with JML, it's going to have some defensive viability just because it's a GL and people suck against GLs, even though the counters have existed forever. But definitely something you should keep your eye on. And then last but not least, my current farm, Dr. Afra. And this is another one where GAC, muy bien, but also viability in TB3. Now, obviously, this isn't the team. This is her with 3 of the team, plus, I don't even know Sana. I think Sana's on the team, and you fit someone else in. Honda's on the team. But Dr. Afra is going to be slept on for the next year plus until its accelerated rate. And fortunately, I've been using my free-to-play crystals from being AFK and GAC for an entire, basically 2 months, and just going to shipments and using the crystals that I should have spent on other stuff onto Afra. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I haven't got her yet, but I'm already not regretting it. And I know when I have her, I'm not going to regret it, because this team is not only going to fuck up a lot of people in GAC, flex offense defense, because you're still gonna have that Akbar effect of, and for those of you guys who don't know what the Akbar effect is, basically when Admiral Akbar got his Omicron, he had the best hold rate in all of GAC, and it wasn't because he was good, because he wasn't. It was simply because people didn't know what he didn't want to bother reading the kit, brought in something weak and lost. So Dr. Afra definitely fits into that category, but also with the viability in TB3, this is definitely going to be a team that's going to give you roster backbone, not just GAC backbone. That's definitely something that you are going to want. So thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, like I said in my last video, I will be out of town for 2 weeks on a work trip. Try to get some streams or videos out via the hotel. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is good. I don't know what's going to happen. But stay tuned, subscribe to boost my ego. As always, I love you, and I'll see you later.